переключатель.
Угу.
Ну, пошла туда, все.
Все, спасибо. Good morning, good afternoon. Our lecture beginning. Today we have last lecture about ecology and ecology problem in biology. Tell me, you listen me? What is ecology subject for study? The term ecology is derived from two Greek words. Ekos is home, dwelling or homeland, and logos or science. In common, this is words meaning habitat science. In a more general sense, ecology is a science studying the relationship of organisms and their communities with their environment. The great importance of ecology as a science only recently have they really come to be understood. There is an explanation for this, which is due to the fact that the growth of the world's population and the increasing human impact on the natural environment came before the need to solve a number of new vital tasks. Ecology is the knowledge of the economic of natures. The simulation study of the relationship of all living things with organic and inorganic components of the environment, including certainly non-antagonistic and antagonistic relationships of animals and plants in contact with each other. The natural connection between forces, bodies, and phenomena, between dead and living nature, between plants, animals, and the mineral kingdom, on the one hand, and man, his way of life, and the spiritual worlds on the other hand, and constitutes the essence of the knowledge of nature. The next important name and date. It is Carl Möbius, 1877. He introduced the concept of biocynosis, a set of populations of all types of living organisms inhabiting a certain geography territory, which differs from other neighboring territories in the chemical composition of soils, waters, altitude. Next important date, it is 1910 and town, Brussels. At the Botanical Congress, plant ecology was divided into the ecology of individuals, oat ecology, and the ecology of communities, sign ecology, population ecology, demecology. In this picture, you can to see a different direction of different ecology, type of ecology. It is animal ecology, plant ecology, ecology of microorganisms, insect ecology, forest ecology, and lake ecology. The main object of study in ecology is ecosystems, or unified natural complex formed by living organisms and habitat. But the subject of ecology is a set of or a structure of connections between organisms and the environment. Composition of the general ecology. In this slide, we can to see three types of out ecology, dam ecology, and sign ecology. What means out ecology? Explores the individual connections of an individual organism with the environment. What means dam ecology? Studies the structure and dynamics of populations of certain species. And third, sign ecology. It means studies the relationship of populations, communities, and ecosystems with the environment. Ecology differentiates historical and evolutionary for specific research objects, engineering, mathematical, agriculture space, social, and so on, global ecology, and human ecology. From a scientific and practical point of view, ecology is subdivided. And here we can to say about two types of ecology. It is theoretical ecology and applied ecology. What means theoretical? It is reveals the general laws of the organization of life. And applied ecology, it is studies the mechanisms of destruction of the biosphere by humans, ways to prevent this process, and develops principles for the retention of natural resource. Which basis methods of ecology we need to know? The first, it is observation fields. The second, experiments of nature. And next, it is modeling of process and situations occurring in populations, biosynosis, and ecosystems using computer technology. Environmental genetics becomes an integral part of environmental medicine. The very term human ecogenetics appeared in the early 17th. Today is very modern directions and very interesting. This is problems which explain genetics problems with ecology problems. Especially we can to say about this when we think about ecology problem with food, with modulating growth of plants and so on. Next, environmental factors. This is our certain conditions and elements of the environment that have a specific effect of the body. The most important factors affecting health are natural abiotic factors, climate, relief, natural biotic factors and artificial factors. They give a high ecogenetic load. In this slide, you can to see classification of environmental factors. This is slide, very information on the slide, very important for knowledge. And I say for you, remember and write this is information because it is first question in exam. And we can to see three types of factors. It is abiotic, biotic and anthropogenetic. What means abiotic? A set of factors of inanimate nature. Next, biotic factors. It is a set of influences of the vital activity of some organisms on the vital activity of others, as well as on the inanimate component of the habitat. And the third, anthropogenetic factors. It is factors generated by human activity and affecting the natural environment. More about abiotic factors. Physical factors, chemical factors, and endophic factors over soil. Physical factors, it is factors first originating from physical condition or phenomenon. Chemical factors, factors that are due to the chemical composition of the environment. And edaphic factors, a set of chemical, physical, mechanical properties of soil and rocks that affect both the organisms for which they are a habitat and the root system of plants. The next biotic factors. And here we can to say about three types: intraspecific, interspecies, and impact. What means intraspecific? It is interactions characterize the relationships between organisms at the population level. What means interspecies? Species. Interactions characterize the relationships between different species. And impact on inanimate nature or microclimate. The next, it is combination types interspecies relationships. And here we can to say about three types. It is favorable plus, unfavorable minus, sign about relationships, and narrow. Anthropogenetic factors. And here we can to say about direct human impact of organisms or impact on organism, so human change of their habitat. In this slide you can to see different types of these factors. And very main problems of modern time, it is for deforestation. And here you can to see forest, big forest, and many trees cut off, and it is a big problem for taiga, for Siberia, and eastern territory, for example in Russia, because in Siberia every year can many loss of trees, maybe in result as a fire. Many towns where make many new building want to take wood, so need again cut off trees. But big problem with trees, it is problem which connection with long time which need to growth of every trees. For example, if this trees, example Christmas trees, it will be more difficult because not every seeds give adult plants. The next it is land plowing, and you can to see many territory which give for plants every year, and can to rest only 1 year. For example, if to land, to fields for plants, and farmer can change 1 year, this is fields work, 1 year rest. But every fields will give mineral, vitamins, and other natural things for plants. And in this work, farmer use many chemical for kill plants which not need, and for excellent and quickly grows plants which need. Next, intensive grazing. Next, construction of hydraulic structures. And you know, this is structures. It is very important for human populations, because from this we have many energy, and we can to use this energy as an electricity for work, for study, for home living, for beautiful, for example, when around old town have night light, many. But this is construction give very something problem for natural, because if you see in these pictures, site which near to us head of these pictures, water has down lower, but other side, back side, have big lower level, and it means not all water come to this. Many water stay before or back of these structures, and it is connection with many forest and other area which need to formation water lake. This is water change climate. This is water give to forest many warm because water accumulated warm and change climate around. Fish which was living in this river cannot to transfer from one side to other side, so she need to find new place for your fish neighboring. Big problem for country and big towns, it is environmental pollution. It is pollution all times when we live. Human live, work factory, um, industrial. It is give many pollution. The second side, it is car, many car. Every people want to have own car, maybe not one, maybe two, maybe three, and in result every family have 2 3 cars. All cars every day come to job, from job, and give many pollution in environmental. Second side, it is trees, which can make balance between pollution and clean air clean, but in result, big town have little trees because many roads, many building, and not any land for trees. So it is balance will as an imbalance. But sometimes many towns make big parks, big lands which have many trees, and it is make more good, more excellent environmental in these towns and for these people which live in these towns. Introduction into the environmental of physical, chemical, mechanical, biological elements that are not characteristic of it, or exceed the average annual levels of its inherent elements. Really, not only chemical pollution give for us many problems. When we live in big towns, we all time live in small space, but big persons in this small space, and it is give all time big change for biological pollutions. When we make travel, we again can to meet biological factor which not character for our homeland, and we take it and like transfer vector come to our land and give or distribution in our environment. Thermal and nuclear power plants, boiler installations, ferrous and non-ferrous metallurgy, chemical production, emission from vehicles. All this big problem for ecology, but it is necessary for modern human living. Only today we can to see and discuss how bad things from this industry can make little. For example, plants can make many safe or transfer to outside of town in open space. or use car only when necessary. For example, in a very big town, can use some types or some variants for receive these problems. For example, when one person go to job, he can to take people from his side to work, and in this time in this road will go one cars, but not three or four. Or in Chinese can use day when will go cars with number 2, 4, 6. In other day will go cars with number end of number 1, 3, 5. And other reason which can to make small amount of cars on way or on road, or other for lower pollutions and bad effect on human. The excessive use of pesticides, the mineral fertilizers, led to the fact that they were in the large quantities in groundwater, soil and caused food contamination. The increase in the use of pesticides coincides with the increase in lung, intestinal and nervous disease in the both children and adults. Really, problem of pesticides, it is a big problem for all humans populations. And today we can to say about alternative methods modulating growth. It is maybe a community of microorganisms and a new level of modulating plants. It is biological use microorganisms. Scientific and technological progress has become the cause of noise pollutions of the environment. Infrasounds affect the human mental sphere, intellectual activity, mood, feeling of confusion, anxiety, fright, fear, and at high intensity. A feeling of weakness as after a strong nervous shock, noise sickness. Scientific and technological progress has become the cause of noise pollution in the environment. Infrasounds affect the human mental sphere, intellectual activity, mood, feeling, and confusion. Yes. The next, patterns of action of environmental factors. The influence of factor on living organisms is characterized by some quantitative and quantitative patterns. And we again will say about main term and important persons and date. And first, Liebig, and date 1814. The vital possibilities of an organism depend on a factor that is at a minimum, also other factors may be present in excess and not fully utilized. The next important name and date, it is Shelford, 1913, and this is about the law of tolerance, both a definition and an excess of an environment factor can determine the viability of an organism. The range between the minimum and maximum of a factor determines the value of tolerance to this factor. Tolerance, the body's ability to tolerate deviation of the value of environmental factors from the optimal ones for itself. Now we will make break time for 10 minutes and we will meet in 12:50. And we start again. Give me plus who present. And we will speak about limiting factors. It is a factor that inhibits the development of the body due to its deficiency or excess in comparison with the need, optimal content. Scheme of action of the ecological factors on living organisms. And here we need to see some zone. The first zone is the normal life. It is more intensity process. The left side too, then more left thought. It is zone of reduced vital activity and then death. And in other side, present same zone of reduced vital activity and death zone. And here you can to see very excellent about in middle we can to see more excellent plants, flowers or trees which have more optimum for his longevity. But then same plants may be less weak and die. And for example, here maybe light, food, water, which we can to give for these plants or not. The next our topic it is adaptation. It is the process of adaptation of the body to certain environmental conditions, behavioral adaptation, hiding from prey, tracking prey from predators, physiological adaptation, wintering, migration. When I read previously lecture, I give same example for you, and we speak about cold temperature, and you can to see many adaptation reaction if you students which traveling from India or other country warm hot climate to Russia. And I need to note that Crimea and Simferopol it is very warm part of our country, of Russia. In real, Russia have long area and many places where not same warm, were very cold. And people which live in same area have many adaptation reaction, same as people who live in hot climate zone or area, and have many other adaptation reactions and characters. The next, it is morphological adaptation, change in the life forms of plants and animals. And in this picture you can to see all about this process or adaptation. From left to middle part of slides, we can to see change condition. For example, light, many light or small light. Water, rain or not rain. Uh, Maybe you know, it is not excellent example, I not will speak. And pollutions, again pollutions which can consist or includes chemical and can to kill all animal, all plants, all living. What happens with natural? If this animal and they can transfer or transmit traveling for other area, uh, so it happens, and this is process will label it as immigration. If cannot, they will make adaptation, and you can to see in middle pictures and left pictures fish was very big and was many species of fish, but in right pictures, part of pictures, we can to see small fishes and only one type, not two. And the next process which happens, it is extinctions. And you can see, for example, frog. Before was many frogs, but then all chemical which use as a pollutions of this area die or kill all frogs. And many species was killed after human make in this territory his long living. Much more examples you can to see in these pictures. And here we can to see the first table, it is animal, second plants. And the first level, it is adaptation to abiotic factors, for example, for cold. And you see birds can to fly in other country and living in different season in one place, then return in other place. He caught many animals, especially which live in Siberia, in snows, can to change his coat for winter and summer type. Winter type, same human dress, more warm, many layers, and summer variant it is easy dress, and same animal have easy coat. The next type of adaptation, it is hibernation. For example, you can to see bear which will sleep all winter. He make hole in swollen, go to this hole and will sleep before spring. In this moment, he have a lower type of metabolism, not need many food, and will use all fat on the skin, which is power bank of energy for his for his life. Plants. What happens with plants when we speak about adaptation for cold? For example, it is falling foliage. We can to see many months before and all trees was without leaves. Or it may be other type of trees or plants which have cold resistance, or which have bulb which stay at swollen, under swollen, and have many again food and energy for growth. And if this area where can go snowfall, so this snow will save plants about cold. The next abiotic factor, it is main factor for animal, for plants, for human, it is food. And in pictures you can to see how can this is adaptation change for different type of animals. For example, giraffe. They have long neck for take leaves which are very open. Camel have two foundation in his back which can to make water fat for long traveling and not use food, big amount food in his traveling. If we speak about plants and adaptation to food, we can to see about intensive root, and you can see this in picture, intensive root, or development broadly thin leaves for take sun and other food for plants. Next abiotic factor, it is defending against attack. And if we will speak about animals, so it may be a different type of adaptation. For example, fast run. Many animals can to use this type of adaptation and fast run. For example, one can run very fast for long distance, many only short distance, but it is adaptation factors. Needless and excellent safe against angry animal. Different smell, deterrent smell, sorry, deterrent smell and coloration. Expensive coloration, for example. What happens with plants? How plants will adaptation for this abiotic factor? For example, poisons. And you can to see birds eat beautiful flowers and die. Or substance thorns. Same needles of animal. The next factor, involving sexual partner of pollinators, bright plumage, horns, sex attractant. If we speak about plants, so it will different flowers attract pollinator, specific insect. It is neat to make next generation. Now you can to see next slide about animal adaptation for tropical rainforest, and notes what happens with different type of animals in this climate conditions. Here we can to see camouflage, mimicry, limited diet, poisoners, reduction in size, nocturnality, changing of habitats. Again, we can to see the camouflage. And next, examples of animal adaptation for living in tundra animal adaptations. Again, see and try to understand what happens with this animal and insects. Next important term, it is ecological niche. The totality of all factors and environmental conditions within which a species can exist in nature. Fundamental ecological niche determined by the physiological characteristic of organisms, and realized niche, the conditions under which the species actually occurs in nature, part of the fundamental niche. And we will again say about abiotic factors of the terrestrial environment or climatic. The temperature Any organism is able to live only within a certain temperature range. The limits of thermal endurance are different. Hot springs of Kamchatka. Temperature more 18 degree of cells, microorganisms, mollusks, Antarctica. To minus 70 degree of algae, lichens, penguins. And opposite situation when we say about sunlight. The primary source of energy without which life on Earth is impossible. Light is involved in the process of photosynthesis. Physiological activity radiation area between 380 till 760 nanometers. Infrared more than 760 nanometers. And ultraviolet spectral range less than 380 nanometers. Next, light intensity. How or what will happen with plants? Light loving, shadow loving, or shadow tolerant. It is different type which will includes common area and live for optimal condition for every. Organisms are physiologically adapted to the change of day and night. Organisms are adapted to seasonal changes in day length, beginning of flowering, maturation. Other climatic factors: air humidity, air movement, wind, different type of wind, atmosphere pressure, high above sea level. Next, abiotic factors of soil cover. Soil is a special natural formation that has arisen as a result of changes in the surface layer of the lithosphere by the combined effect of water, air, and living organisms. The most important property of the soil fertility, the ability to satisfy the need of plants for nutrients, air, and other factors, and on this basis of ensure the harvest of agriculture crops. Soil properties. physical characteristics, structure, porosity, temperature, heat capacity, humidity, chemical characteristic, the reaction of the medium, chemical composition, and living organisms as worms, fungi, bacteria, algae. Soil profile. As a result of the movement and transformation of substance, the soil is divided into separate layers of horizons, the combination of which make up the soil profile. Three horizons A, B, C. Abiotic factors, aquatic environment. And here we can to know about density, heat capacity, mobility, temperature, salinity, dissolved oxygen content, and pH, power hydrogen. In 1917, Barry Commoner is an American biologist and ecologist. He make next conclusions. Everything is connected to everything. Everything has to disappear somewhere. Nature knows best. Nothing comes for free. Social mechanisms of adaptation appear immediately after biological ones. Social mechanisms emerged at a certain stage of evolution. They are distinguished by high plasticity and are constantly being improved. In this slide, I finish my lecture. If you have any question, you can give me these questions. If not questions, I will little explain about next our future exam. In this semester, we again have two control point CP, and now we passed first, second, third, fourth, and prepare for fifth. The fifth control point will be at next week, Friday. I think and hope that all of our students will finish all topic from second semester. This is full topics and practical classes which we can to give you. What will next? In next, we will have 1-2 weeks for rework. You can to make rework all control points. Only you need to remember control point you can make only one times. Both weeks, but only one times for every control points. For come to exam, you need have all past control point for 3 marks. 3 need to be 3 or more, 3, 4, 5. Then we will to amount this marks for control point calculation and give you common result. After this, if you have any research work, scientific report or take part in conference, you can to take some additional points. And third part of your common mark will be from exam. Exam will be in two types. It is test and it is oral answer. Test, it is alternative variant, or a test or oral answer. For group which was learning in offline, it will be the same shape of exam. If we speak about test, we give information you additional. It will be test which we use for control point. Like control point, you understand all these shape of organizations. If we'll speak about offline exam, so you need to prepare and give answer for three types of questions. One types questions, it will be about cytology, genetics and molecular biology. Very big questions, a very hard topic. The second type of question includes all about parasitology. It is worms, insect, protozoan. And the third type of questions will be about ecology, adaptation, evolution, phyloembryogenesis. Very difficult topic too. Additional for these three types of question will be two more tasks. It is genetic task, as was in first semester, dominant, recessive, chromosome, gender or X chromosomes connecting, and other. And second task, it will be micro slides, micro photos about all process which we were studying. How you need to prepare? You need use all our materials. At first, this is materials from Moodle. I said many times for mind group and repeat for all. We have two programs, first semester and second semester of Moodle Presence biology course. In the upper part, you have full literature, full study book which you can use during your studying biology. Then you can to see lecture, full list of lecture and full this thesis connection with lecture. Here you can to find lecture, PPT presentation, theoretical materials and literature which recommend for this topic. After lecture you will to see practical classes and again connection with every classes. And here you find task, micro slides in illustration, file of illustration, literature and theoretical materials. Please use all these materials, especially if topic you was missed was absent in this topic, in this class, or forget or not understand. In my groups, we have wiki chat for every class. Number class may be same for first and second semester, but you can to see all info, your and your group mate in this chat. Read all this. See all topic, all information, all pictures, all speaking when we was discussion about this topic. I think it more help you. Would not need to make an exam, not need to search or use any help for exam. Try to use your own brain, your own memory, because you will in future as a doctor and you need to use your brain. What I will do for prepare you to exam? I will check all our protocols in every class group, class chat for this semester, and student who was absent because you was in isolation, in traveling, in disease, in or other reason, you need to make revoke. How you will make revoke? Open class chat which you was absent, see all task, all our discussion, give question for all questions, and send me protocols in this chat. This is work necessary to make in last week before I will give to the office final result of your study. If you have question, you can give me. If you not have any question, I say you goodbye and see you in our class or in exam.